Firstly, I just want to talk about, in broader terms, about the cultures we are talking about here. You're very frank about the differences between British culture and the cultures encountered by the settlers in various corners of the empire. You're very clear that no culture is perfect, but one sign of a superior culture is its ability to help other people. The British did this by introducing natives to farming and trade and even ideas of equality and freedom. Is it fair to say that this was one of the guiding principles of the empire, the desire to help other people?
Yes, particularly from the early 19th century onwards. In the 1820s, 30s, 40s, the British began to talk about an age of improvement, and there was a lot of confidence in the capacity to make progress. A vaccine against smallpox had been invented. Ocean crossing ships had been engineered. And in Britain in the 1830s and 40s, legislation was coming in to help relieve the plight of industrial workers in early industrial Britain. So there's a lot of self-confidence, a lot of confidence that progress could be made. And often Britons were alarmed at the impact of European settlement on Aboriginal peoples. Much of the negative impact was disease. And that disease was brought to North America and to Australia inadvertently. It wasn't spread deliberately. So colonial governors and people back in London scratched their heads as to how to protect native peoples and enable them to adapt to the new world that was coming. And one idea was to protect them on reserves where they could learn to adapt gradually. But you're quite right. I'm quite frank about talking in terms of cultural superiority and inferiority, not because I think that any culture is permanently and absolutely superior to another, but because it seems to me to be common sense that in some respects, at some times, in certain places, a given culture is, in terms of technology or science or medicine or even liberal politics, superior to another. And sometimes the members of the inferior culture recognize the value of the advantages of the superior culture and want to adopt it. But inevitably, when they adopt something, they also adapt it. So it's not simply an uncritical receiving. It's also appropriated in a fashion that fits native circumstances.